I wrote this spoken word to commemorate the sanctity and the uniqueness of the African hair. And it's entitled, You Will Never Understand, So Don't Touch My Hair. An African's hair is a small window into the soul, that one piece that the oppressor failed to completely control, that piece that keeps them tethered to the motherland, the place from which they were once sold. I can recall my mom spending hours of her off days to groom us girls. 6 princesses and 1 prince, we became her entire world, making small, precise parts throughout our scalps. Meticulously, her tiny fingers would design interlocking cornrow lines. And once complete, she would stand back to admire her masterpiece, a long and tedious feat. Placing the stocking caps on us before putting us in our beds, looking dead into our eyes, she said, when you go to school tomorrow, don't you let nobody touch one single hair on your head. For your God says that even the very hairs of your head are numbered. Your African hair has always been like one of the world's 7 wonders. So let me set the record straight as I share the great affairs about the timeless journey of the African's hair. In our homeland, our hairstyles represented nobility and status. So once our ancestors were captured and sold, upon arrival, the slave owners were told to shave their heads to strip them of their crown and glory, the beginnings of how we forgot that we came from royalty. But rich like the African soils, and using the discarded oils, the crumbs that fell from the slave owners' tables, they were able to bring forth life once again to each and every strand of their hair, and they continued to be quite fair to look upon. Much too fair to look upon, the slave masters marveled over our hair, and soft like cotton pillows, they forsook their own women and forcibly took African women and little girls to lay upon, and it shook the whole plantation. Good old Tinyon laws were a response to this, in an effort to correct the offense to Miss Anne's fragile little ego. Absolutely no concern for the African woman and little girl, though, for they lost what they could never get back. So, like I said, you will never understand, so don't touch my hair. But what they meant for suppression, Yah gave to us a bountiful blessing, the artistic hands of those queen mothers, making those old rags for each girl and woman, placing them on their heads, the coat of many colors. Swag just kept on coming. The affairs of the African hair, it's our rhythm. It's going to get a fade with a number 2 blade at the barber shop. You and the fellas just chopping it up, watching sports, politics, and entertainment, that good stuff. Don't touch my hair. It's Big Mama with the hot comb in her hand as she stands next to the kitchen stove, humming melodies in your ears as she softly blows at the smoke dancing off the temple chrome. You can hear the hot grease crackle up against your scalp, trying hard not to yelp. Don't move, girl, so you don't get burnt. Don't touch my hair. It's sassy edges with edge control, African head wraps, do-rags, and silk bonnets to hold our magnum opus that took copious hours to create for all eyes to behold. It's finger waves and updos, it's spiritual and metaphysical too. Don't touch my hair. It's an escape route mapped out by the brave runaway slave on their way to freedom. It's this need to survive. The slave woman would hide crop seeds in her braids in order to make a way for her family to thrive, once fleeing the plantation to start their new lives. It's the bond between mother and child, plaiting hair with care and style, all the while bouncing her baby on her lap. The vibrations of her leg taps soothes her baby into a peaceful nap. Don't touch my hair, for it is our blues. It's those days of addiction during the creamy crack epidemic and all the brokenness that came with it. Burnt scalps, damaged hair follicles, broken and split up ends, which brought about the trend of the hair extensions, the beginning to the end of our hair. Spiritual uniqueness, dissatisfied with ourselves, became one of our biggest weaknesses, and the taunting and the teasing about the hair weaving to cover up the heart bleeding of not knowing that we were still Yah's chosen, a royal priesthood, the people of the supreme Elohim. Our low self-esteem became our penitentiary, and the name calling would persist. Chicken head, fake girl, catfish, how I wish that we had a mind to resist, but society would insist that we conform to their norm of Eurocentric form in order to be employed and to fill the void of non-acceptance by a system, forsaking the wisdom of the previous generations that was handed down and shared. Oh no, we let them touch our hair. Box braids, beaded braids, French braids to cover our sanctity, our sanity, only to hear the profanity by racist society scream, no braids allowed. We pleaded, but braided hair is our protective style. No braids allowed. On the job, it simply isn't professional. It goes against the status quo. No braids allowed. In the schools, during our classes, our African hair has been deemed a distraction. No braids, no locks, no twists, no designer fades. No blacks allowed. Oops, I forgot we were talking about hair. Not much has changed. The California Crown Act of 2019. So it took a whole law to declare the legitimacy of my African hair. Wow. How was this still even a controversy now? So let me get this straight. Congress had to congregate in an effort to desegregate so that we could integrate into the schools and the workplace. How, when, and where I could rock my African hair? Nah, you will never understand, so don't you dare touch my hair. But I'm so glad that the Most High God's grace is sufficient for out of the darkness and into the marvelous light. Only an African really knows the internal fight to reach way down on the inside. It took a complete resurge of cultural pride to cross back over to our natural side. And the confidence that it took to chop it all off, hoping somehow we could salvage what was lost of the damage caused by the straightening chemicals, the sew-ins, and the glues. For some of us, causing alopecia too. Who knew that the African hair had its own rhythm and blues? Oh, but in its all natural state, even gravity knows that it can't make an African's hair obey. The afro reaches up to the creator of heaven and earth, giving him all the praise for his rebirth is worth more than gold. A refreshing of our beaten down souls has finally taken hold. How were we ever so easily sold and fooled? Don't you know that our hair texture is just like our true master's lamb's wool? I am not my hair, but my hair is a part of me. It's an interwoven piece of my people's legacy. Isaiah 3:17. Okay, we lived out that prophecy. The scenic route by trials and tribulations, a long journey. So, the next time you see me to touch me or to appropriate on me, you will never be me. You will never understand, so don't touch my hair.